And today we're going to be checking out this awesome inflatable paddleboard. We're going to go over what you get, and then we're going to take a much closer look at it. So let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing you see that you're going to get is a repair kit. That's right, patches and glue. Then you have a actual phone case that you can keep your phone in and keep it dry. They have a lanyard that connects your ankle to the board so you never lose the board. You get a detachable fin that go on the bottom. You also get your air hose that comes with, let's open it up, that's right, a nice huge air pump to quickly inflate this paddleboard. You just hook the hose onto the pump like so, and you'll be ready to go to inflate the paddleboard. Now we're going to go ahead and get the paddle out. It comes in two pieces. You can break it down, and you can just simply assemble it by snapping it together. And if you don't notice, all this stuff fits into a backpack and only weighs 20.5 pounds. So let's unroll this, and I want to let you see just how big and fantastic this paddleboard is. And don't be put off on the fact that it's inflatable, because this thing is extremely tough and durable. It can hold 440 pounds. So I'm going to have my children help me in this. We're hooking up the paddleboard to the pump, and we're just going to pump away. As you can tell, my children wanted to be a part of this. They were super excited about this paddleboard, so they all wanted to take turns and get involved in helping to inflate it for a day of play. And I must say, they did quite a fine job. Even our little baby Colty, who's only 3, was more than happy to chip in and do his share to get the fun started. Now you can see on the pump itself, they have a gauge. That way you know how much air you're putting in the paddleboard, and you're supposed to put 12 to 15 pounds. You can see that it's easy to disconnect. There is a valve in there to keep the air from coming out once you release the pump, and you just simply put a cap on to keep sand and dirt out. And take a look at this board. You got the rubber grips, you got the nylon hand strap. It's 10 foot 6 inches long. It's 32 inches wide and 6 inches thick. And this thing is like a real board. It is solid. There is no flex in this thing when you stand on it. It does come with a detachable fin that you can put on to give you more stability in the water. I chose to take it off while the kids were playing with it because I didn't want the waves to make the fin hit them. And you can see how light this board is. My 12-year-old's able to drag it to the ocean on his own on a very windy day with no issues whatsoever. And he was the most excited of all to get in the water and play with this paddleboard, and boy did we have fun. Now the weather today was extremely windy, the waves were quite large, so it's going to be very difficult to try to stand on this paddleboard, but that's not going to stop us from putting it through a test. So we started out by me just dragging the kids out into the ocean and trying to actually catch some waves and use it as a surfboard to see how far they could ride back into the water. They were so excited, of course, at first that they jumped on the paddleboard before it was even all the way in the water. But once we got out in the water, we made our way into the waves, and they all piled on, all 3 of them, with no issue whatsoever. And I was able to take them out into the ocean just a little ways and send them on their way. Now you can tell as I'm dragging them through the waves, they're sitting on this board with no issues. This board is not flexing in the middle. It is not rolling. It's extremely sturdy. It has the nylon grips to hold on to and to help get yourself back on if you fall off of it in deeper water. And it's also got luggage straps on the front in case you want to go fishing, kayaking, bring an ice chest, bring a cooler bag or whatever. And here we go. Let's ride a wave. And they didn't make it so far. So we decided that the 3 of them couldn't balance together, and we were going to go one at a time. And as you can see, you could surf on this thing as well as use it for a paddleboard. So much fun. But now it was time for me to give it a go. So I walked out into the ocean with the paddleboard, and because it was so wavy, I knew that I wouldn't be able to stand on it. So I tried sitting on it and paddling out into the ocean. And then I was going to stand on it once I got past the breakers. But the wind was too much, and sitting on my butt, I could not make any progress. And I was just spinning my wheels and staying in one spot. so I had to revert to plan B. So what I did is I went ahead and I converted to getting up on my knees so I could put more power behind the paddle. And by doing this, I was able to make my way out into the ocean a little bit easier and get into some deeper water and actually try paddling, which it was very easy to balance on. I had no issues whatsoever. The only reason why I didn't stand is because the waves were so big, and I was doing awesome, doing great, taking on the waves. And then I decided, for the sake of the review, that I was going to hook her right and go parallel with the shoreline. Well, of course, as soon as I turned sideways, here comes a giant wave, and I tried to get back in line with the wave, and oop, there I went. So as you can tell, we had an extremely good time on this paddleboard. It was very rigid, it's very well made, and when I say there was no flex to this thing, I could stand in the middle of this board and it not bend or flex whatsoever. I would have swore I was standing on a fiberglass board, and I really think that this technology is the future of paddle boards and maybe even surfboards, because you can deflate this when you're done at the end of the day, roll it up into a backpack that's about this tall. It only weighs 20 pounds, and you can store it in your garage, in the trunk of your car, anywhere, and you don't have the burden of carrying around this big board with you. And it was just an all-around good time with this board. The kids had a blast on it. They played with it all day. I played on it all day. We didn't have to put any more air into it. It held air perfectly, and it just did an amazing job. I hope this video helps, and thanks for watching.